Okay, I thought today I would show a video of how to feed your feeder insects and take care of them for your reptiles, or in my case, my Emperor Scorpion. A lot of people ask me, what do I feed my crickets? You know, it's really hard. A lot of people have a lot of trouble trying to keep their crickets alive. There's a lot of bacteria that gets into their terrariums, their little tanks, the water, the contamination, the bacteria. Crickets just doesn't last very long. So the best way to keep your crickets alive is, I've got a few things I use here that I'll show. Flukers is probably one of the #1 brands that I use. This is a Fluker's high calcium cricket diet. It's like a, I'll show you. It's like a really grainy sort of food for the crickets, and they seem to really enjoy it. And ever since I've been using Flukers on my crickets, they have lasted, I never have any dead ones. They last 10 times longer than they do with the old ways of cutting up like a half a potato and having just water in there. Another food that I use is by Zilla, and this is all natural cricket care. And it's got added vitamins and minerals, and it's about the same. It's really grainy. Again, as you can see, it's really fine, really ground up. What I do is, in either one, really, both of these are really great, the Zilla and the Flukers. What I do is, instead of using any kind of like a bowl or anything, you don't want to put too much in there. You don't want to waste too much, because these two containers, or one of these containers, will last you a very, very long time in feeding your crickets. So what I like to do is, I'll take the lid of a water bottle, or like, let's say, like a Pepsi bottle, and all I do is I take one lid, and I dip it down in either one, and I fill this. Now this will last, 3 or 4 or 5 days before I'll change it out, because you've got to take care of your crickets if you want to take care of your reptile or your Emperor Scorpion, or what other case. So I use lids like this, is completely sufficient enough. And with water, now the bacteria in water, when you get 20, 40, 30 crickets living together, and you take something like this and you fill it with just water, that it's going to be so contaminated with bacteria, the crickets will be just dropping like flies. It's just not healthy for them. So again, with sticking with the same company, Flukers, and all this can be purchased on petco.com. Flukers cricket Quencher is, again, it's calcium fortified, and instead of like water, what it is like silica gel, as you can see here. It's really soft. It's like hair gel. It's really soft, as you can see in there. And this again, it's like the cricket food. This lasts forever. And all I do is I take one bottle cap, okay, I dip it in there, and you get just 3 or 4 chunks of your fortified, and that's what I put in there. The crits, they go down on it, they love it. It dries up fairly quick, so you have to make sure that it's not dried up, because the crickets have to have, they have to be hydrated. Another one that I like is Zilla. This is the gut load cricket drink by Zilla. It's a bit more fine than the Flukers. It's more ground up. The pieces are a lot smaller than the Flukers, and that's fine, but the only problem with that is it dries up 10 times quicker. So when you have a cap full of the cricket drink here, it dries up really, really quick. Whereas the Flukers, as you saw, the chunks of the silica gel-like substance is a lot bigger, as you can see. So it tends to last a lot longer. Now all of these, I'm not going to say one's better than the other. Zilla is always a great product. Zilla and your Flukers, I actually keep more of the Flukers, especially the cricket Quencher. just because of the consistency of it. It's just lasts longer, and the crickets seem to like it a little bit better. But it's always good to mix it up. This has got different vitamins. You've got more calcium. So now with all this, it should be in a container. If you got a pet shop right around the corner, it should be no bigger than one of the plastic little containers like this. As you can see over here in the corner, there's just one little water bottle cap full of the Flukers cricket quencher. Here was a cap full of the grain food. Of course, they make a mess and spread it everywhere. And then for just an extra variety, in the opposite corner, you've got the Zilla cricket drink for my crickets, as they're all in there hiding right now. And it's always good to keep with your crickets. You don't want them too stressed out, so to have the little egg carton compartments in there for them to hide and stay in and whatever. And you need to keep this cleaned out. You know, every few days or so, get brand new water bottle lids, get all the old food out, get all the dried up silica gel type stuff out of there. You need to dump it out, clean it. Even if you got like 2 or 3 dozens of crickets, it's easier just to take a small empty waste basket and put all your crickets in there. That way you have all the time to take out their little tiny personal things here, clean it. It's more sanitary. I never ever find any dead crickets anymore. I can have 2 to 3 dozen crickets in this small little thing here, small little container, and there'll be no deaths. None. Because taking care of it, being sanitary about it, keeping them hydrated, feeding them the good high calcium diet, these feeder crickets will last a long, long time. No water. Keep the cricket drink or the cricket quencher and bottle caps. Feed them a high calcium diet with Flukers or the cricket care food with Zoomed. And like I said, all this can be purchased, and it's really cheap too. It's not expensive at all. It's absolutely so cheap, you wouldn't believe it. For the price that you pay, and then the months and months that these last you, you just can't beat it. You can't beat any of it. So I just wanted to show how to do the feeder crickets, what I think is the best, what's worked for me, what to feed them, how to make them not drown or get too much bacteria and contaminated water. So I think this is the best bet to go. This is the best way. So I hope that answers a lot of questions out there for the feeder insects.